All right, here's my really quick and dirty voiceover PowerPoint on digital storytelling. So, why are we doing a digital story? Um, and just some things to think about. All right, so why is because we're wanting to tell a story related to family and we really want to make like an emotional impact with our story. So lots of times the stories that have been really meaningful that have been shared in class before are stories that have a personal component. That being said, I would just caution you about sharing something that is potentially really triggering and thinking about like appropriate use of self-disclosure. Um, and so, yeah, finding that middle ground between something that can touch someone and make an impact, but also and display the importance and the complexity of families and social issues impacting families. All right. So, first of all, I just need to give a little bit of credit to Barb Mitchell, who still works at the college, but in a different role now. So, a lot of the images that you're going to see are actually from her. So, I just want to give her a shout out. Oh, and there's nothing there. So here we go. Okay, so what is this image portraying? So this is just like a really good information on thinking about what your choice of images portray. So this might be, you know, this is not pointing to tell someone what direction to go. This is a different kind of a point. So this is actually the image that came up when one of the images that came up when Barb looked for intimidation. And so here's another one. What does this image represent? This little fish out of the mess of the sea. And that one came up as hopelessness. So some of these are very, sort of open to interpretation. This one also came up for hopelessness. And so I think we can see that image of, the hand sinking. This one, is it fear? Is it isolation? Is it separation? Is it cowering? And it was fear. So just think about how images can portray messages and how they can be impactful. And so you might not need to find an image that is, a direct image of your house to tell the story. You might have a different image to represent what home feels like. And so that's the just a little bit of a display around how we can, display an emotion using an image or a metaphor. So Barb also talked about. So Barb was a filmmaker, um, and so she used that experience before to kind of share some information. So she just said one good way to kind of think about how you want to tell your story is to come up with a storyboard or a block plan. And you can use sticky notes or you can just use a sheet of paper and kind of track your story. Like, what are the images that you want to share and when do you want to share them? And so, some of this, when you're thinking about stories, is do I want to have still images and have them, kind of cut together, much like you would on a regular PowerPoint? Or do you want to have, do you want to film things and have a really sort of dynamic thing? So just kind of for your planning purposes. So she also just talked about like when you're thinking about actually doing the work to make your video, you might want to think like, do you want to, I've had students in the past do this, make a video where they wrote a script out and they actually acted out a scene. Do you want to make a shot list? Do you want to do something on um, people who are experiencing being unhoused and how that impacts families, and you live in Desert Bloom, you're probably not going to be able to take a whole lot of pictures that really represent that. You're like, oh, I really want a picture of Finley Bridge, and I really want a picture of the mustard seed, and I really want to take a photo of, an alley downtown, for instance. So think about that and make yourself a shot list of things that you might want to kind of include in your story, and then gather images or take your photos or whatever it is that you want to include. Think about music and narration. Sometimes that can be really impactful, and I've seen lots of stories, digital stories that have no narration, no talking at all, and just music playing in the background. Or sometimes a silent kind of thing with a very stark image can be really powerful. So think about that and all the ways that you can tell a story, including music or by not including music.